What's good, duelist? Johnny Accusing here coming at you with another deck profile. First off, I want to say thank you. Special shout out to Sam Cox of Team Ropai and Yugi Nono of Team Ropai. Go check out their channels. Check out Yugi Nono's channel. I'll put the link in the description below. Leading to the video, that this is the reason why this video is being made. This is my Build-A-Bear Herald deck. Sam Cox coined the deck and calls it Fluffle Herald. I changed the name to Build-A-Bear Herald, but I kind of did some tweaks to it. Added a couple cards out. A little bit different to his, but a lot of the same deck. Anyway, again, shout out to Sam Cox and Yugi Nono Team Ropai for putting the deck profile out there for everyone to have access to. This deck is insane. This deck is the tits, the nuts, whatever you want to call it. Sam Cox wasn't kidding when he said that this deck people off and this deck is insanely good. He was not kidding. So without further ado, let's get into this deck profile. So first we run 3 of everyone's favorite fairy, the one and only Herald of Perfection. If you don't know what this card does, during either player's turn, and it's multi-chain triggers, you don't have to worry about once per turn chains or once per turn during either player's turn. If an opponent would activate a spell, trap, or monster effect, you can negate that activation by sending one fairy card from the hand to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy the card. So, if your opponent activates, say, a card effect, you chain Herald to that, and then they try to chain another card effect that isn't a spell speed 3, or a card that cannot be controlled by battle or none of card effects, you can activate Herald's effect in the same chain again, and continuously pitch fairies from your hands to keep negating cards in the same chain, as long as the card is not a counter trap, or a card that's like unaffected by card effects or cannot be destroyed by card effects. But other than that, this card is really, really good. Next, I run 3 copies of Cyber Angel Ben 10. This is a 1-card Herald. You use Dawn of the Herald's effect to pitch Ben 10 to the graveyard as tribute to bring out Herald of Perfection. They're both 6 stars, so she counts as the entire tribute for Herald of Perfection, and she has a really nifty effect that states when she's tributed to the graveyard, or she's just tributed in general, you can search your deck for a light fairy, add that fairy to your hand, which is really, really good. Her second effect is decent, and I won't really get into it because it's not really necessary, but it's the first effect that you really, really want to get to when it comes to this card. Next, I run 3 copies of the starter of the Star Seraph's engine. This is Star Seraph's Scepter. This card is insanely good. This card makes the deck go so hard. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can search your deck for one Star Seraph card and add it to your hand. And this also has a secondary effect that states if it's used as Exceed material for the Exceed summoning of a monster that requires 3 or more, or exactly 3, you can give that Exceed monster the effect to destroy a card on the board and then draw a card. And next I run 3 copies of Star Seraph's Sovereignty, the other piece to the engine. What this card states is, if a Star Seraph monster will be summoned except during the damage step or battle phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you summon this card by its own effect, you can draw a card. Now the secondary effect is kind of a nerf on this engine. This card can only be used for the Exceed summon of a rank 3, of an Exceed monster that requires 3 or more. So you have to use a rank 4, because they're both rank 4. Both level 4. So you have to use a rank 4. That's pretty much going to get you, that requires 3 or more materials, such as Ouroboros, Utopia Prime. You know, any rank 4 monster that has 3 or more materials, that's the only way you can use it if it's Exceed materials. So you have to have it 3 or more materials. So that's kind of a drawback, but at the same time, when you're drawing 2 cards, you're summoning this guy, pulling this guy to the field, this guy to the field, drawing 2 cards, making an Ouroboros, popping a card on the board, and then drawing a 3rd card. 3 cards plus an Ouroboros isn't too bad. And then moving on to the next set of monsters in my deck, I run 1, 2, 3 copies of Fluffle Wings. I upped the Fluffle engine of the monsters to 3. Sam Cox is running 2 wings and 2 bears, and if you watch Yugi Nono's his version, he's running 2 wings and 1 bear. I upped it to 3 because I want to see this combo. This combo is insane. I want to be able to make 4 cards out of the deck and draw 2. If you guys were wondering how this combo works, I will show you in a bit later in the video. But running 3 wings, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card plus 1 Fluffle monster in your graveyard, and you can draw a card. And then if Toy Vendor's, but only if Toy Vendor's in play. If Toy Vendor's in play, on top of drawing the 1 card, you can then destroy the Toy Vendor to draw a 2nd card. So essentially, essentially what you're doing is you're naming 4 cards from your deck to draw 2, and I'll explain to you how that works in just a few seconds, into a little bit. Next, I run 3 copies of the Fluffle Bear. This card is, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, search your deck for 1 Toy Vendor, and set it in your spell and trap zone face down. This is your combo enabler. You need him because you have to get to your Toy Vendor. You don't have Toy Vendor in your hand already. You want to pitch him from your hand to get the Toy Vendor, or you want to somehow get Toy Vendor to the graveyard to get to him, so that his Toy Vendor can do that. And for the last set of monsters, I'm running 2 copies of Gofu the Vague Shadow. I don't have Gofu in my possession right now. My brother's borrowing the Gofus for his deck because he's playing Link. He's testing his Link format deck, and he needed 2 Gofus, so I let him borrow them. That's why you see the upside down cards here. But these are supposed to be Gofu the Vague Shadow, and of course everyone knows, unless you're living in a rock, everyone now knows what Gofu is used for in this new format known as Links. He's a 1-card Deco Talker. He's a 1-card Link 3 monster, or generic Link 3, so it makes sense. And that rounds off all the monster cards for the engine, or for the deck itself. Moving on to spells, I run 1, 2, 3 copies of Ritual Sanctuary. This card is your searcher. You can search your Ben 10 with this card. You can search your Donald the Herald ritual spell. You can search your Herald of Perfection. And this card combos well with Toy Vendor because you can pitch the Toy Vendor from the hand to the graveyard by the cost of Sanctuary, which is pitch a spell card, search your deck for a ritual spell or ritual monster, and add it to your hand. And then you can just make the Toy Vendor combo go off that way by pitching your Ritual Sanctuary, pitching your Toy Vendor to the graveyard, getting your ritual spell or ritual monster, and getting your bear as well to start the combo. So definitely want to run this at 3. And the secondary effect is not that bad either. It's mainly used in the late game. As I've noticed when I'm testing this deck, I've used the secondary effect mainly in the late game, which allows you to send a number of spell cards from your graveyard back into your deck, equal to the level of a monster you want to target in your graveyard. It's a fairy and special summon. So say you want to special summon your Star Strap Sector level 4, so you have to send 4 spells back to the deck in order to special summon from the graveyard. So you want to special summon something like Hardcore Christia from the graveyard, 8 spells is required to get her on board. But it's still a really, really strong, really powerful card. Expect Heralds do anything in this format, expect this card to kind of go up in price a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to, but if Heralds do something, this is probably a really, really sought after, really, really good card, and something that people are sought after. Especially when it comes to the Vendread archetype, you can run this in Vendreads, and that's pretty cool. Next, I run 3 copies of Donald the Herald. This is the ritual spell needed to summon Herald to Perfection. You have to run it. If I could get away without running it, I would, but you gotta run it. And of course, he summons Herald, and this has an effect that allows you to banish this card from the graveyard to add a monster that was used for the tribute summon, for the ritual summon of Herald, back to your hand. So you can use this with Ben 10, pitch the Ben 10 for tribute, use this card to pitch it from banish it from the graveyard, add your Ben 10 back to your hand, and still search your Light Fairy with Ben 10's effect. Next, I run 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites. You gotta run this. We don't have prep anymore. Pre-prep this card is just insane. I activate this, search Herald, Donald the Herald, go off. That's just amazing. So you gotta run this card in the 3. This card is super good, super powerful in this deck. Next, I run 3 copies of Terraforming because you want to see that ritual, you want to see that field spell as often as possible. It is much needed in the deck. So if you want to see your field spell all the time, and you need that field spell, you're going to want to play Terraforming at 3. Most decks that run field spells and are required on the field spell to go off or need the field spell to keep the deck going, they usually run 3 Terraformings. I was running 3 Terraformings in my Invoke deck when it came to the Magical Meltdown. You want to run it because you want to see Magical Meltdown and Invoked. So same thing applies here. And then next I run 3 copies of Toy Vendor. this card states when it's sent to the graveyard, you can search your deck for one fluffle monster or one edge monster to enter your hand. Send this card to the grave, search your bear, pitch your bear, search this card, set it face down the field, activate it, use its effect to discard a card from your hand in order to draw a card and reveal it. If you discard your wings, which is what you're going to want to do for the combo, if you discard your wings, you'll draw and reveal. If it's a fluffle monster you reveal, you get to special summon any monster from your hand that can be special summoned without special requirements. And if it's not a fluffle monster, then you send that card from your hand to the graveyard that you reveal. Next, the last set of spells, I run 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. This is also another Toy Vendor enabler. Having this and wings in your hand guarantees you the entire combo will go off if you're going first. Use Foolish Burial Goods to send that Toy Vendor from your deck to grave, and then if you have wings, you're set to go. Last spell I run is 1 copy of Upstart Goblin, just like Sam Cox did in his build. Upstart Goblin is really good. There was room for 1 more card, so I figured if he's running Upstart Goblin, why not? And then for my traps, I only run 2 copies of Solemn Strike, because Herald does most of the work, but it's always good to have extra backup just in case you don't have the fairies in your hand necessary to go for Herald's effect. You always have that extra. If I can't use Herald this turn, I at least have Solemn Strike. And then moving on to my extra deck, I actually don't have, there's 3 cards missing from the extra deck. I don't have them just yet. And sorry, 4 cards. I'm missing 4 cards from the extra deck. My brother is borrowing both of my Link Spiders and one of my Decode Talkers. But I do have the 1 Decode Talker here. I'm missing the second one and the 2 Link Spiders. And I'm also missing another card, which I'll go to in a second. My next card, I run 1 copy of Gaga Cowboy for late game, 800 damage to win. You know, Cowboy's good for late game. Activates effect in defense position, burn 800 and take the game. 1 copy of Gaga Samurai, because if I summon this, I'm going to use the effect and I'm going to attack for 19 direct damage. 1 copy of Tornado Dragon, just because I had room for it. I had an extra slot to put in there, so I figured why not. And of course, being able to destroy a spell or trap card on the field is pretty good for a 2100 body. Star Seraph Sentry. It's a rank 4 that requires 3 materials, so I figured why not. I might switch this out for Stellar Knight Dultros instead, because he requires 3 level 4 light monsters, so I would probably go Dultros instead. Next I run 1 copy of Utopia with Lightning, number 39 Utopia, 2 copies of Evil Swarm Ouroboros, another rank 4 that requires 3 materials. And then for the missing cards, I have 1 copy of Utopia Prime. I'm running a 2nd copy of Utopia Prime in my extra deck because I can hard summon Prime using the Star Strap engine, and then I can always make the Utopia. As you can see here, I can go Utopia, Prime, and then of course the Lightning, which I'm missing, which is another card I'm missing. 1 more Lightning is needed for this deck because on top of being able to go Utopia, on top of being able to go Star Seraph Scepter from the graveyard, normal summon Scepter, Exceed for Utopia, Exceed for Prime, Exceed for Lightning, I can always go Scepter, Sovereignty onto the board, and then go Prime and Lightning on top of that. And then go with Prime and Lightning on top of Lightning on top of that. And then for the last card of my extra deck, I run 1 copy of Constellar Polymetis M7. I've had games where I was testing this deck, and I wound up summoning 2 Herald factions with no fairies in hand, and it was a late game, and I'm like, if I could just get strong enough damage on the board, I could win. And I looked at my field, and I'm like, I got 2 level 6 fairies and 2 level 6 monsters in the field. Let's make a Polymetis M7 and hard summon this card from the extra deck. So, anyway, that rounds off the main deck, extra deck, and now for the 2 card combo we have in this deck. We are going to grab the Foolish Burial Goods, and we are going to grab the 1 copy of Fluffle Wings. I'm going to show you a 2-card Toy Vendor combo that is really strong in this deck. What you're going to do is you're going to activate the Foolish Burial Goods, and you're going to grab the Toy Vendor from the deck, as you can see here. Then you're going to pitch it to the graveyard. Then Toy Vendor's effect is going to kick in. Then you're going to search and add your Fluffle Bears in your hand. So now you should have your bear and your wings in your opening hand, as you can see here. That would also be in the graveyard as well. So in your graveyard you have Let me back this camera up so you guys can see better. Back it up. Yeah, back the camera up. Let's see. Fluffle bear, fluffle wings in the hand. Then, with the bear's effect, you're going to pitch your bear and grab it with a toy bender. Do that. Then you're just going to set it face down because it says you have to. Then you'll activate your toy bender. You'll pitch your wings for toy bender's effect. You'll then draw some random cards, say like stop deck strike. Well, so I just stop deck to strike. Strike goes to the grave because it's not a fluffle monster. Then you'll take your bear and wings, banish them, and then you'll draw 2 cards to the grave, well, 2 cards, and send toy benders to the grave. So now you've taken you now have taken 1, 2, 3 cards from your deck, 4 cards. So now if you look at the situation at hand, you now have removed 4 cards from your deck. These 4 cards are removed from the deck, and you drew 2 cards. So you decked it, which is really strong. That's just to give you a general idea of how Toy Bender works, the Toy Bender combo. Now, a really cool combo I like to play is a 3-card combo. It involves my proxy Gofu, I guess. It's proxy, so let's go with that. Cyber Angel Ben 10, and pre-preparation of rice. These 3 cards are your opening hand. What you're going to do is you're going to normal summon the Gofu, special summon your Gofu, make it 2 Gofu tokens, turn the 2 tokens into double link spiders, then send the 2 link spiders and the Gofu into the graveyard and bring a deco top of the camera. So let's get more board presents. There's your link spider, there's your deco talker. Then you're going to have to make your pre-preparation of rights. Just gotta get this right. Pre-preparation of rights to your hand. Then you're going to search your herald and your Dawn of the Herald to your hand. Then you have these 3 in your hand. So you're pre-prep to the grave. You're then going to activate your Dawn of the Herald. Get your Ben 10. Summon Herald directly underneath the Deco Talker. If I can get this correct, I can't see the camera right. This Deco Talker is the Herald right underneath. Always make sure you want to place your Herald underneath the Deco Talker on the bottom left or bottom right. You don't want him directly underneath the Deco Talker, because if he's directly underneath the Deco Talker, your Deco Talker will not get that boost of 500. So you want him left bottom or left bottom left or bottom right. It's necessary. And then, as you start hitting the graveyard, you're going to banish your Dawn of the Herald, return your Cyber Angel Ben 10, and then just add a fairy, or add a light fairy to protect your hand. You can add your Ben, you can add your wings if you need to. Your Toy Bender combo, you can add Starstrap Scepter or Sovereignty for the Starstrap combo. Either way, at the end of the day, you should have 2 fairies in hand with a Deco Talker on the board and a Herald of Affection. 2800 attack because of the fairy, because of the monster linked to him, and the 500 boost, and a Herald of Affection at 2000 defense. So that's a pretty decent starting combo play. And that gives you an idea of how this deck works. It gives you 2 combos. Next I'll show you, finally I'm going to show you one very powerful 5-card combo. Starting with Ben 10, pre-preparation of rights. 1 Foolish Burial Goods, 1 Fluffle Wings, and your Star Seraph Scepter. So say we open up with this kind of a hand. This is not a very common hand to open with, but with the way the deck is played, there's a chance you could open up with something like this. Being your Cyber Angel Ben 10, you now have your Herald combo. And you can search the Starstrap Sovereignty to make the draw 3. And you have the Foolish Burial Goods and Wings. So what you have here in this combo is you have Toy Bender, you have the Starstrap, you have 1 piece of the Starstrap engine for the combo, and then you have the requirements to get the Herald. So what we'll do here is we'll pitch We'll activate the pre-preparation of rights. And we will grab our herald and Dawn of the Herald and add it to hand. Now we have our herald, Dawn of the Herald in hand. Next, we're going to special summon by pitching the Ben 10 and the Herald. Bring out Herald to the monster zone that is left bottom or left right from Deco Talker, because with this combo we're going to make a Deco Talker and not go for an extra deck Exceed. Use Ben 10's effect, and we're going to grab the Star Slab Scepter and add it to here. We'll place these to the side here, so we know that's the graveyard over there, out of the way. We'll add the Ben 10 to here by banishing the Dawn of the Herald. And then, we're going to Foolish Burial Goods, get our toy vendor to the grave, just grab our toy vendor here, put that in the graveyard, search our bear to hand. Now we have a bear in hand. We're going to pitch our bear along that spot now. Grab toy vendor. We're going to activate toy vendor's effect, pitch the wings, add it to the graveyard. Then we're going to draw 2 cards. After we do toy vendor to the grave. We're going to draw and reveal, then draw 2 cards. So now we have 2 extra cards in our hand. We still have 5 cards in hand. If you notice, we are notice with this combo, we are currently 1 for 1. The entire this combo is currently 1 for 1. As you can see, with this with what we've done so far, we still have 5 cards in hand. The 2 original we started, 2 of the cards we started with, and 3 additional cards. These 2 make no difference. They can be anything. If they're a Herald plus Dawn of the Herald, that makes for the ability to summon to a second Herald. But we're still not done with this combo yet. So the next we're going to normal summon our Scepter effects to get our sovereignties onto the board. So now we have 2 sovereignties. Now we're going to draw 2 additional cards. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are 1 for 1 in the entire time we're doing this combo. So if everything goes well, and if you don't draw into a Herald or in the ritual spell, or if you do, you can then make another Herald. But in this case, we're going to send these 3 to the graveyard, and we're going to special summon our Deco Talker to the board. So now as you can see, we have camera's messing up here. 5 cards in hand, and if we get lucky and we draw nothing but fairies, which could be a possibility, we're looking at, say, 5 fairies for Herald's effect to negate, plus a 2800 attack and a 2800 defense. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content coming soon to Yu-Gi-Oh game. And again, shout out to Sam Cox of Team Bropie and Yugi Dono. I'm going to put a link in the video description below to check out their channels. Check out Yugi Dono's channel, and I can leave a link of both of their decks, both versions of the Herald deck that they did. So anyway, have a great day.